I'm naturally just a very inquisitive person.
Mhm.
So everything I ask, it's, just chat. I have many people calling me. Oopsie daisies. I like. Somebody's talking. Okay,
Uh-oh.
Facebook.
Mhm.
Making sure we're live. We are live. Hi, everybody. Come on in and have a seat. I'm just
Woo.
making sure this is public. It's public. It
Yes.
should be on your page too, Irma.
Okay, let me check.
Alrighty. And I'll go over to your introduction that you sent me.
Mhm. You don't have to read the whole thing. I just kind of wanted to give you the whole thing. That way you could just kind of pick and choose what you wanted to throw
Oh
out
my
there.
gosh, it's so freaking cool. I hate to miss any of it. Well, I'll read part of it, but
Okay,
I
awesome.
feel bad about that. But I'll read. I'll shorten it. Today on Comic Spot, you guys, we have somebody so amazing. I've met her in person once or twice
Hmm.
down at Steve McAnally's show down on the
Yes, here
Vegas
in Las
Strip.
Vegas. Yes. I'm in Las
Yes,
Vegas right now. You know that, right?
I know that. We
Mhm.
need to go have coffee. How long are you going to be in town, Irma?
Till I'm leaving on the 14th in the morning.
We'll have time for coffee.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You and me.
Absolutely.
You can bring your husband if you have to.
Nah, not just kidding.
This
Yeah,
is
so.
Irma Linda Ruiz. Irma Ruiz. She's got
Yay.
those big knockers. I mean, the earrings knockers.
Those two.
It says here, Irma Ruiz is a former wannabe chola turned school teacher turned comedian.
Yes.
Although she's been kicked out of every neighborhoodnextdoor.com group, she's joined and is banned from 5 Facebook mom groups. You can still find her performing in comedy clubs and festivals and casinos in Texas. OMG, I'm telling you, this lady, she's performed at places like Kickapoo Casino in
Yes.
Texas,
Hmm.
Hooters in Vegas, Inn of the Mountain of Gods in New Mexico. I won't try to botch that name. Comic Strip at El Paso,
Mhm.
Hyenas, Fort Worth, Secret Group, Houston, Joke Joint, Houston, Improv. This lady has been, and there's more. Oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. She's been in 4 festivals that she has listed.
Mhm.
Art of All Female Comedy Festival, Plano Comedy Festival, Tower City Comedy Festival, and 440 Comedy Festival. This lady is really kicking it.
Hey.
She's a working comedian. Show some respect, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, she was
Yeah.
she's a wannabe cholo. I wouldn't mess with her. I
But
love your microphone. Let's talk about your microphone.
I went and bought it today
I love it.
just
Oh
for
my
this. Well, because I had one at home, and I'm also going to be doing another Zoom call at 7:45, but it's just going to be audio. So I just brought some headphones with the microphone,
yes.
But then I thought, dang it, I don't want to be wearing that while I'm, doing this. I just went and bought it. My son's been wanting a Yeti, so it'll be a late Christmas present for him.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I love that microphone. It almost looks like the old studio microphone,
Yeah.
but then it's the blue tint, so it's
Hmm.
modern.
It's super cool. Super
Super
cool.
cool. What do
Yeah.
those run?
I don't know. I need to go check my receipt. I
They
told my
just
husband
said,
we'll buy it. I told my husband we'll go buy it and then we'll return it. I'll clean off all my finger marks. But he's like, don't do that. You're so ghetto. I'm like, I know I am. He's like, just give it to TJ because my son's been wanting one. He's always borrowing mine at home. So I was like, okay, I'll do that.
well,
I am a little ghetto.
let's talk about you, Irma.
Okay.
What city did you grow up in?
I was born in San Antonio, but in third grade, in 1983, I moved to Del Rio, Texas, graduated, got married. My ex-husband was in the army. So then after that, I was in Germany, El
Wait,
Paso.
Germany.
Yeah.
My
I was,
husband was Army and I was in Germany.
oh yeah, we were in Wiesbaden.
I was in Hanau.
Oh, I have no idea where I was so young. Like I had no business having kids and being married and being in a whole foreign country. It was, I don't know what I was thinking. And I remember getting on the airplane when, I was going and my dad was crying. I was like, who are you? I'm a big girl, Dad. No, I was a child.
Wow.
There's no way like I could. I'm such a mom right now. If my kids would try to do that, I'd be like, no, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't blame you because I think that everybody should be locked up until they're no longer invincible.
Yeah, like Rapunzel's.
I
I don't want my
was just
kids.
talking about Rapunzel today.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was
Tell me
telling my comedy coach that she's Rapunzel.
why.
She takes my straw and spins it into gold for me.
Is that what Rapunzel is? No, you're thinking. No, Rapunzel's the one with the long hair. You're thinking the other one.
Yeah, I am.
What is that other one about?
is
He
that
says
other
he has,
crazy?
and he was like, guess my name. Remember?
So I'm looking
What
for
was
the
that
one
fairy
that's
tale about? Rumpelstiltskin.
She's my Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I
was
get
like,
them confused.
he took the straw and would spin it into gold yeah.
That's why we got confused. We weren't sure if it was gold or hair, and that's why we had the two mixed up.
Yeah.
I grew up without any bedtime stories.
Aw.
Yeah, my parents survived the Holocaust, so they told me about the Holocaust at bedtime.
Oh my gosh. That must have been a little scary.
It was. Talk
Oh.
about grim fairy tales.
I know. Oh my God. My mom, she was a pretty good storyteller, and I think that passed on to me. And as I got older, I liked writing stories and telling stories. I was a reading teacher, oh my God. I like telling stories, and my students would be like, "Oh my God, Miss, you're lying. Stop lying." I'm like, "I'm not lying. I'm just telling a story." There's a difference. You're a liar. I'm not lying. I'll tell like these really long fibs, and then sometimes I remember to say just kidding, and other times I don't. I'm a storyteller. There was this one time, oh my God, we were having a barbecue and there was a few comedians, and I had some on the side. We're talking very quietly. I was already drunk, you know what I mean? I've been drinking. And I was telling them that my husband, that he was in the cartel, and that he was traveling back because he travels to and from Mexico a lot, but he works in IT, you know what I mean? But they knew that he would travel a lot. They wanted to know what he did. And I was like, well, he's in the cartel, but we kind of keep it hush hush. Please don't tell anybody. And then we got distracted. Something was happening, and we just I forgot to say just kidding, but I did tell them, don't tell anybody. It's top secret, And then we kind of got distracted. And next thing you know, there's another female, a comedian friend of mine from out of town. She came to me and she was like, hey, Irma, I know about your husband. I was like, what? I'm like, what? Tell me about my husband. And she was like, well, that he works with a cartel and the Zetas. And I was like, oh my God. And I forgot, and it just got all around the comedy community. Don't fuck with Irma, because her husband's in the cartel. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, should I tell people I was just kidding, or should I just let it keep going?
Oh my God. So you grew up there, and you were always funny, or did your comedy come out after a lot of bad life?
No. I mean, I've always been like a goofball. You know what I mean? I've always been very independent. I've never been embarrassed to speak in front of people and stuff. So I was a good storyteller. I talk a lot, and but I never thought to do comedy, and so anyways, let me finish telling you. So I was in Del Rio, ended up getting divorced from that army guy. And then there was nobody to date in Del Rio, and the only people available were my cousins, which was super weird. So I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. So that's when I moved to San Antonio. And then when I was in San Antonio, well, of course I was teaching for a little bit, but I remember I went back to Del Rio to go hang out with my friends, and we went to a comedy show there in Del Rio, and it was her name was Joan Riviera. She's a San Antonio comedian, and I was hooked. I became a groupie. I would go to all the bars that she was performing at and everything, and I thought maybe I could do this. You know what I mean? And I would just kind of go and just kind of watch them and study and just kind of, I was new to town. I didn't really know anybody or anything, and so I went to an open mic at the LOL Comedy Club in San Antonio,
Okay.
and wrote my name down on the list. I had my little 3-minute set, and they called my name, and I couldn't get up from my seat. And I was just like, they're like, Irma. Well, back then it was Calderon, Irma Calderon. And I'm just like, and I didn't get up, and they went on to the next person, and I just got my paper, and I said, screw it, I guess I'm not doing this. And I just went home. And then I didn't try doing it again for maybe like another 2 or 3 years. And I was kind of pushed into it accidentally. A friend of mine in Del Rio, one of his comedians had dropped, and he was like, hey, you want to give this a try? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not really this. I don't know anything about comedy, you know? And he was like, no, you've always been funny, you know, because we grew up together and stuff. And I tried it, and it was horrible. It was horrible. Like, I just shit in my pants, and you could hear crickets. And you know what? As bad as it was, I was hooked. You know? And then after that, I kept going to open mics, and that's what started it. And here I am now.
That's amazing.
Figured it out.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So have you used storytelling in your comedy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It always starts with a story. You know what I mean? No matter what I write, it always starts with an experience that I had, or 2 experiences that I kind of, you know, put together and create some imaginary experience, you know, and it starts with a story, and then I just cut it down and add little tags and little lines. And yeah, but I definitely use storytelling. Yeah.
Because I think if you are such a storyteller, you know, I think it would be really interesting for you to do a one-woman show. Have you done that?
No, I've never done anything just by myself. I have about an hour worth of material, and it's an hour if I don't forget anything at all. You know what I mean? If I forget something, then now it's like 55 minutes, and it keeps going down, depending on how forgetful I am.
Yes, absolutely.
I definitely don't have 90 minutes yet.
Got it. So growing up in school, did you crack jokes? Did you get in trouble for being funny?
I didn't. I used to crack a lot of jokes. I was mostly like the big mouth in class, you know. I did get in trouble a lot. Well, not a lot, because I feel like administration and like the teachers kind of felt sorry for my dad, because he was a teacher there. So things would happen. Like, I remember getting called into the office for doing things that I won't mention right here because I don't want my kids to know. And the principal telling me, you know what, just go ahead and go. I'm not even going to tell your dad, just go. And I'd be like, oh, thank you, you're awesome. You know, got in a few fights. You know, oh my God, there was this one time I was in English class, and my teacher's name was Mr. McHugh. And me and my friend Raul, we had this notebook that we would just write like really ugly, mean things to each other, you know, and and we would just pass it to each other, like very nonchalantly, like, oh, here are your spelling words, you know, or can I copy your definitions? But that's what it seemed like. But I guess like the teacher realized like what we were doing. And I wrote some really gross things like, oh, you and Mr. McHugh, y'all are secret lovers, and you gave it to him up the butt, and like real bad stuff. And I gave it to him, and the teacher saw, and he started to pick up that we were doing something, you know what I mean? And he went and he picked up the notebook. He picked up the notebook, and my face is just like, we just look at each other, or like, I mean, the whole notebook was about how much we were just like really going off on this teacher, you know, but it was just between me and him, and it was a joke. It was just supposed to be stupid. And so I see the notebook on his desk, right? But there was this other guy in class. He was a bad kid at that time. Now he's grown up and he's a police officer. Super funny. And he did something, like he threw a chair or something. I don't remember. But him and the teacher kind of got into it, and he got up and he ran out of the classroom, and the teacher like ran after him, and everybody's like all about the drama. Like, oh, look at that kid. He's going to get in trouble. They're going to suspend him. And all I'm looking at is that fucking notebook on the desk, you know, and everybody's just sitting in their chairs like, you know, and there I go. I get up and I go grab the notebook, and I open it up, and I I just rip out all the pages. Then I close it and I went back and I sat down, and it was just a super, and everybody just turns and were looking at me, and I was like, y'all better shut the fuck up. Don't say anything. And sure enough, everything settled with that other kid that, I don't know what happened to him. That Mr. McHugh came back in and he opened the notebook. Nothing was in there. He just kind of looks up at us, and I'm just like, I don't know. And yeah, so I wasn't like a bad kid, but I mean, I put myself in a lot of bad situations, where I could have been like in a lot of trouble, but I guess I've been, luck loves me, I guess, I'm a very lucky person for some reason. I don't know why.
Me too. I'm telling you, I could have wound up in jail or prison with some of the stuff I did.
Yeah.
I never got caught.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't think I did anything like real bad, like killing anybody yet. My husband over there.
But it's early.
Yeah, it's early. There's still time, honey.
So talk to me about getting up on stage. The first time it was horrible. At what point and how did you get to where you are now? Tell me about your trajectory.
Okay. So, and I was talking yesterday, I did some time at the LA Comedy Club, and you do know Kool-Aid, Alex Anzel.
Yes.
And he was there at my very first open mic. I remember going, he actually ran the show in San Antonio, and I went up to him and I introduced myself. And again, I'm a storyteller. And I was like, so today's my first time doing open mic, and I'm gonna get up. And he was like, okay, just whatever you do, don't tell any stories, tell jokes. And I was just like,
oh shit.
And I still went up there, and yesterday he was like, man, I haven't seen you in the longest time. You have improved so much, but the only thing that has gotten me to where I'm at is just nothing but stage time. I'll take it. Whatever you got, give it to me, especially if it's in San Antonio, I'll take it. My problem was that open mics, well, right now there's not very many, but the open mics only had like 3-minute spots, and then they'd have like 30 or 40 people. And then sometimes you wouldn't even be able to get on the list. I would get dressed, go, and then like there was not enough room for me. And I was just like, oh my God, how am I going to become a better comedian if I can't even get on stage to perform the little bit of comedy that I do have, and this was in the beginning. So I said, well, you know what? I just need to have my own open mic. You know what I mean? I need to start producing my own shows, And so I would produce, and that's when I created Mind Twist Comedy. And I started having some of my own shows, and I would book my own comedians and stuff. And I did that not only to get comedians work, but I did it for myself too, because I knew at that time I could do 10 or 15 minutes, and that would be like my practice time, So that's really what it was. When I couldn't get enough, stage time just doing open mics, and I knew that I needed that time, I was like, okay, well, you're just gonna have to create your own time. And that's what I did.
That's what Al Martin in New York City did. And he created Broadway Comedy Club, The Stand, and Greenwich Village Comedy Clubs. Because nobody would give him stage time. He wasn't that good. So he opened up a club and grew to 3 clubs. And then he could host and he could pick the talent.
Work exactly. Because you can't get better unless you're constantly on stage and practicing. But it takes a while to climb up those ranks, you know what I mean? Because oh my gosh, like I'm telling you, like when I first started, it was horrible. Like I was horrible, you know what I mean? So to have like somebody like Kool-Aid tell me, oh, that was actually pretty good, I'm like, oh my God, thank God, because he saw me at my worst. You know what I mean? And so for him to say like, oh, you really improved, and I have a few friends like when they tell me like, wow, I remember when you first started. I'm like, I know.
What's one of the horror stories from your beginning comedy where you felt you did the worst?
Oh, no, it has to be probably my second show. I got so nervous. I forgot my set. And I started doing stupid like knock jokes. And people are like, what's happening here? And I'm like, and then they weren't even my jokes. They were like my friends' jokes that we were like just, tell each other when we were like drunk, or whatever, like just stupid things. And yeah, that was pretty bad. I could say that was probably my most horrendous time. No, I take that back. I opened up for Chris Kattan in Del Rio, Texas. And it was just, I think I had like a 7-minute set. Oh my God. It was so embarrassing. It was horrible. Like, again, like crickets. And I think that was like that was like maybe like the third time that I had ever been like on a show. You know what I mean? And I was just like, not only that, but I guess like the town or the city that he was at before, there had been like another comedian who's like a working girl comedian, if you know what I mean. Like but she really is. And she's not anymore, but she was very, she was very open about it, that she was a comedian, but she also had like this side gig, and that's cool. Sure. Or whatever. Yeah. But what kind of bothered me was like, and like at that time I was like real big. I think I was like 215 pounds. I was like huge, you know what I mean? You were? And yeah, I was huge. I was like, I'm still chubby now, but I'm just Texas chubby, I'm not. So at that time I was like a real big girl, and I went in and I went to go introduce myself to Chris Kattan, and he was like, "Oh, you're going to be on the show?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "What happened to so-and-so?" I'm like, "She's not here and I don't do what she does. So sorry." And he was, oh my God. Hopefully he doesn't. I'm sure he has no idea who I am. And I'm glad, because I was a horrible show, horrible show.
I was asked by DJ Sandu and Clay Miles, to host for them in Portland, Oregon. They're like, "Do you want to host for us?" And I'm like, "Sure." I wasn't going to it was the first time I was going to host. I didn't know Jack. I didn't know Jack about hosting. I'm surprised they even talked to me to this day.
No, that's awesome. I thought that I knew everything about hosting. I've only been doing comedy for 5.5 years. And so I hosted a show for Vicky Barbalack. I don't know if you know who she is. She's from America's Got Talent. Yeah. And so that was there at LOL Comedy Club. And like, she was like, "You're doing real good, but don't forget to do," and she gave me like, a few tips. And I was like, "Okay, let me try that." And I tried it the next time I went up, and I mean, just such simple things, like, I guess, like, just talking more to the audience, and my friend Al was like, "Just remember, you're the host, and you're a comedian, and you want to get started on your jokes right away. But don't forget that your real job is to bring in the audience, make them feel comfortable, so they don't feel guilty about laughing about, those uncomfortable jokes, that's your job, to kind of get them loosened up." And he says, "Yes, be a comedian, be funny, but don't forget that your main purpose as a host is to get people loosened up, And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess you're right." Because, hosting is fun, but I want to, and I have that thought like, "Oh, I need to get straight to the comedy." You know what I mean? So I just have to keep that in mind, that when I'm hosting, just kind of not forget that the audience is there,
That's a tough one. I've seen a lot of hosts go right into their material, and the audience isn't warmed up yet.
Exactly. And sometimes I have a little bit of trouble with hosting, because not a lot of trouble, but I have a visual impairment. I have retinitis pigmentosa, which makes it real hard to see like in the dark. So like when the comedians say like, "Oh, the lights were in my face, I couldn't see anybody," I'm like, "Oh, forget it. I'm gonna feel like I'm just talking in front of a black curtain." You know what I mean? So I like, a lot of comedians could like make like eye contact with, audience members, or talk about what they're wearing, or, "Who are you with here today, Sarah? Is this your wife?" How, I really have to like concentrate, and I have to look at the audience, figure out where people are sitting, like before the show actually starts. Like, it takes a lot of work before the show actually starts to actually see who's sitting where, who am I going to focus on, and then so I think that's probably the hardest thing for me. Yeah. My eyeballs.
So I started comedy 7 years ago with a brain injury.
Ooh.
and my brain injury was so bad at the time. This is what I looked like when I came on. Hi guys. I have this because of this. Things fall out of my head. And I was horrible, horrible.
Oh.
Thank God now I can memorize and I don't look
Mhm.
at my notes and I don't forget anything any more than anybody else does once in a while. So it's so
Right.
much better.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, it was horrible. I mean, nobody wanted to be in the room when I went on stage.
Oh.
Nobody. I don't blame them. And
Yeah.
so now you've done comedy, you've traveled, and you're in Texas, but I've seen you in Vegas and you have your own comedy. Is it a comedy club building?
No, it's just the thing was I was spending so much money with my traveling. I was spending more money that I'm still like that. I spend more money that I make, and my husband's like, you need to make this a business so for tax purposes. So that's a real reason. And then I thought, well, since I had this name, let me go ahead and just I don't it's not a venue. I don't have a venue. I would just do like different shows at different venues, you know.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
That's great. Congratulations. How long have you had your business?
I think like maybe like 3 years. Yeah, it's
Great.
just been about 3 years.
What's
I
the
haven't really
funnest
put
thing
on
that
I haven't
what's
really put
the
on too many shows lately just because of the pandemic, and it's so marketing is so weird. Like sometimes I think like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, it's so difficult. But then I see other people like packing out and I'm just like, wow, wait, this is awesome. No, yeah, we could totally do this. You know? It's yeah, so I don't know. The whole marketing, I think I need to study it a little bit more because it's working for some people and it's not for others. And I'm trying to figure out like their little secrets and stuff. So
yeah.
until I really figure it out, then I probably won't put on any shows. I'll be on shows, but I probably won't be producing any. Not
Got
for a
it.
little while.
So are you in a military community in Texas?
No, not really. My husband is a Marine or he's retired. You know what I mean? So, but we don't really um hang out with like military people or anything like that. I mean, I go on base and go to the doctor and go shopping and stuff, but that's about it.
Because they like to come out and support comedy,
Yeah.
military.
Yes. Yes.
That might be
Absolutely.
something you could tap into. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been my bread and butter.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, I love doing comedy for military and veterans. And if you hit up their Facebook groups on Facebook, they'll come out and watch.
Oh, okay. Do you produce shows here in Vegas?
I haven't produced any in Vegas, but I've produced in Portland, Salem, Vancouver, Washington, and New York City for
Oh,
veterans.
okay. Awesome. So you're all over the place too.
Yeah, I'm by coastal.
So you're like bipolar. No, bicoastal. I like bipolar. That sounds more fun.
It is. Take it from me. So yeah. So
Mm.
what do you have in mind for your future beyond your comedy club, comedy business?
Oh, you know what? It changed my. I don't know. I don't know what I want. That's what I was telling my husband. I was like, I need like a little, oh my God, what do they call those boards that are like a goal board or something? Like I need to decide what what my goals are because I'm just all over the place. My brain is so sporadic, and I think right now I just need to make a name for myself.
Yeah, let me
I
show
want
you
people.
my I'll show you what I do for my goals.
Mhm. Nice. Okay. Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Yep, can't hear you.
Now can you?
Oh yeah, there you go.
All right. So every day I write down and I can erase this and reuse it every month.
Yeah.
That that thing.
Your whiteboard with all your goals.
And I write jokes and I erase
Mhm.
them and reuse that. And then this is all my projects
All your projects.
that I'm currently working on.
Yeah. I actually brought a few of my notebooks too from San Antonio. Let me see. I was like, I'm gonna be in Vegas for a few days, so I didn't bring all of my notebooks, but I was like, I need to start going through these because I know that I have like stuff that I'll have ideas and I'll write it down and then I'll just keep going and using the pages and I'll forget about it. So I like to go through like my old notebooks and be like, oh yeah, I remember this joke. I can use this here or I can use it there, so I still haven't gone through them yet, but I need to. That's my plan. I just wanted to make sure because I had the Friday show, which it didn't happen, by the way. I don't know. But anyways, we'll talk about that later. Okay. And then yesterday I did some time at the LA Comedy Club with Butch Bradley, which by the way, I met his wife, Carla. Turns out she's from my hometown. We graduated the same year. We went to high school together. Yeah, she knows my best friend. She knows my husband. I was like, what? Like, it was crazy. Yeah. But I don't remember her. She didn't remember me
yet.
Yeah, I hadn't met her. It was the first time that I had met her, but like I saw her and I was like, I don't know, I think we're gonna be cool. And then like it was just so weird because like immediately it was like high school, I was in this class, I was in that class, I know so and so, and yeah, it was kind of cool. Yeah, did
you get good feedback from Butch?
Yes, I did. I got good feedback from everybody. You know what I mean? He's super awesome. Like he's one of those comedians that I watch and I forget that I'm a comedian. You know what I mean? Because like, do you ever like I've told my friends, I'm like, I can't even go to a comedy show and enjoy it.
No.
You know what I mean? Because I'm watching the comedian and I'm like, oh, look, he did the rule of 3. Oh, there's a pause. Oh, he knew where to, okay, something's coming. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, it's almost, I'm just looking at strategy and structure, almost like I'm studying the comedian. So I can't really enjoy it. But with like Butch, like I forget that I'm a comedian and I'm just laughing. You know what I mean? So
that's like me awesome. Too. He transports you to a whole nother level and you can't figure out what he's doing.
Yeah.
You can't. Right. I sat there and tried to dissect Butch and I can't. He's so good. Yeah. He has so many layers to what he's doing. You can't.
Exactly. That's a perfect description. He's got layers. Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of comedian I want to watch. I don't want to watch people at my level.
Right. I hear you.
That's painful enough to put up with myself.
Yeah. So I felt real good. You know what I mean? I felt I had better sets. I've done better in different situations. I think what I kind of worried about was my time limit. And I was like, okay, these are the jokes that I'm going to do. Because I recorded myself. I recorded my audio. And when I listened to it again, I was like, oh, okay, I did okay. Except I felt like I already talk fast as it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I felt like I reviewed my tape and I was like, oh yeah, I was talking too fast.
And that's a double-edged sword because if you talk slow, people go talk faster. If you talk fast, they tell you slow down. Which is it?
Yeah. And my pauses were just there. Like I'm really hard on myself. And I'm like,
me too.
Pause there a little longer and a little second would have been great. You know what I mean? Just little things like that. And
me too.
But sometimes I think I do really shitty. That's why I always have to record my sets because sometimes I think like I do horrible and then I go back and I watch it or I listen to it. And I'm like, oh wait, I wasn't that bad. I just couldn't hear them laughing from way up there, but my phone was over here and picked up all the laughter back here. So I'm like, okay, not that bad. And then other times I think like, oh, I kicked ass. I did awesome. Then I listen to it. I'm like, oh, no, I didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't lie, does it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's the crazy? When you've been out doing comedy, what's the craziest thing you've been around that you thought would get dangerous? Something was going to pop off? Because I've got a crazy story.
I don't think I've ever put myself in a dangerous situation.
Me
You know,
neither.
if I've been in a dangerous situation, it's because I'm the one posing a threat to others. I'm the dangerous one. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where, or if I feel uncomfortable about something, I already know to like, maybe I shouldn't be here. So yeah, I've never felt uncomfortable. And you know, it's a male dominated. I mean, right now, hopefully things will even out pretty soon. You know, I think they are going to even out. It's a male dominated, you know, what's the word? Industry, a male dominated industry. And so, I mean, I'll be places with, you know, 15, 16 male comedians and maybe just me by myself as a female comedian and maybe another one, but never. I always make sure that I surround myself with good people, people that I know. You know what I mean? I've always felt safe. You know, nobody's disrespectful towards me. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I've never felt uncomfortable or in a dangerous situation. But then again, I'm real picky about who I hang out with and that sort of thing.
That's smart. That's a very great
Yeah.
perspective from a female who's,
Mhm.
you know, doing well in comedy like you are and staying safe and competing with the men.
Yes.
So, yes. Now, I was really referring to you go into a comedy show expecting a comedy show, and the husband and wife start bitching at each other, and there you are, and the police have to come in, kind of thing, you know, where something bizarre happened, unexpected popped off, and there you are trying to do comedy, or others are trying to.
No.
None of that's happened.
No, I'm trying to think. No. Oh my gosh, you're making my life sound boring.
No, I was in Portland at Harvey's Comedy Club, and we had a guy doing the hosting of the comedy club, and he was on the spectrum. So he was oblivious to certain things, and he hyper focused on other things, right? And so he's doing the show, and this whole wall is a window to the outside where the homeless are at.
Okay.
So it's like a goldfish bowl. You're sitting there watching the show, but there's this action going on behind. It's the silliest place to put the stage. So there's some homeless people fighting over a 6-pack of beer. So the host bangs on the window and starts taunting them. So they come in the bar to fight the host.
Oh my gosh, the homeless guy. Oh my God. So
that was the last time he hosted.
That was the last time he hosted?
Oh, you know, like he didn't have the wherewithal to keep us safe, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and that was in Portland?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where were you? Were you in the audience or?
Yes, it was so awkward. It was
Oh,
like,
man.
my gosh.
No, when you feel awkward,
he was oblivious.
When you feel awkward in those situations, the best thing to do is to take out your phone and record in landscape mode. Okay, never in portrait mode. Just and hold it very steady. It'll comfort you. Just having the camera right in front of you, as awkward as you feel, it'll feel comforting. Just hold it very steady. Post it on Facebook and tag me.
So funny.
Oh my God.
So what do you got going after the pandemic's over?
Ooh, I have my calendar's pretty much looks real good for January. February have a few things coming up. As far as, I mean, you say, what do I have for after the pandemic? I don't know when that's gonna be. You know,
what kind of question was that, Linda?
Yeah. I have a few things in February coming up. I'm gonna be working with Jerry Garcia in Houston on the 10th. I believe he's gonna be at the Improv, and he's a real good friend of mine. So we'll be doing that. And then for Valentine's weekend, I'm gonna be in El Paso with the BorderLand Kings of Comedy.
What?
The BorderLand Kings of Comedy. So I'm really excited to be working with them. You know,
oh my God.
I've been bugging them. I'm like, hey, what's up with the BorderLand Kings of Comedy? What about La Reina, the real deal, the queen right here? Can't be a kingdom without a queen.
I love it. Good job. So Give me those 2 dates and what cities.
Oh, the 13th and 14th, I'll be in El Paso. I'm not sure what the venue
February?
is. Yes. And then on the 10th, I don't know how much time I'm going to be doing. I might just be doing a guest spot at the Houston Improv with Jerry Garcia. But I'm like, I
So
will
the
take it.
13th and 14th is with Jerry Garcia?
No, the 13th and 14th are with the BorderLand Kings of Comedy.
Okay.
That's Valentine's weekend.
Okay.
And then the 10th with Jerry Garcia at the Houston Improv. But then, you know, I mean, I'm giving you these dates, but with the way that things are going right now with the pandemic, who knows? You know what I mean?
So the February 10th, Houston Improv, Jerry Garcia,
Mm-hmm.
and anything could change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm really excited for at the end of January. My friend Luz Pasos, she's a California comic. It's gonna be me and her and my friend Flo Hernandez from the Dallas Fort Worth area. We're gonna be doing like a little Texas city tour. I think we have like maybe like 6 cities that we're gonna be doing, and we're calling that Three's Company, the Three's Company comedy, because it's just 3 of us, and we're gonna 3 headliners, and we're gonna kick some ass.
Wow. And that's called, what's the name of that tour?
The Three's Company comedy tour.
Three's Company comedy tour.
Mm-hmm.
And where can people follow you online, Irma?
Just have them go to sanantoniocomedy.com or mindtwistcomedy.com. It's the same website.
Got it.
Yay.
Do you need any more followers on YouTube, Instagram?
Oh, yes. And it's the same thing for all of them. Mind Twist Comedy, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. I'm barely starting to like work on my TikTok material. I'm trying to find like my niche. You know what I mean? Like I have like a whole bunch of like just random videos on there, but I'm trying to figure out like what is my niche gonna be? You know what I mean? Because I notice like a lot of people that are like blowing up on TikTok and stuff, they have like kind of a repetitive little niche. And I don't know what I want mine to be yet. See what I mean? I can't think straight. I'm all over the place.
How about really bad advice?
Really bad advice.
You know, like making fun of advice. Like, you know, style advice, bad style. Anybody can give good advice for style. Give some bad advice, or, you know.
You want me to give you bad advice, or you want to hear?
I want to hear it on TikTok. I want to go to TikTok and be entertained. You know, I don't want it to be like a TED Talk. I want to go there and she's like putting on lipstick way over the line.
Oh, yeah.
Just
I understand. I was a little confused. I was like, what is she asking me? Yeah, like just have like a little niche, like how to put your makeup on wrong, you know, or something. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. I've kind of been thinking about doing like an 80s green screen type of thing where I'm dressed like the 80s and it's maybe like early 90s, and then I have like a green screen, and so it basically I want to have like 1980s Irma talking to 2021 Irma. You know what I mean? And but I don't know. And like just talking about the past and the present and like doing like a comparison of the two. I don't know, but I just feel like that's a lot of work. I'm lazy.
So are those the biggest earrings you own?
Yes. No.
Do you take
I have some bigger ones, but I like these because they're super light. And I don't even remember where I got these. I think I got them at one of those little Chinese stores, but they're super light. My ear holes are like old already. I have old lady ear holes. So if I put anything heavy, you just see like a line, like, you know. So these are
what's an old lady?
You know. You know, they're
80, 85.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm gonna type up my afterthoughts after getting to know you with all your shows that are coming.
Yay.
And then if you wouldn't mind resharing that so people can see that, and
absolutely.
I'll share it.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're in town. We're gonna do coffee on me. Pick your restaurant. You know where I live. I told you kind of sort of where I live, but I can get over to the strip. I can meet you on the strip.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Are you gonna go to the show on Wednesday? Well, I know. Well, I'm not gonna be on Steve's show because I'm doing the Chanclas show, but I'm probably still gonna go hang out with Steve for a little bit because he's one that for those of you all watching, I'm talking about Steve McAnally, Las Vegas. He runs a comedy show over at Rick's Rollin' Barbecue. If it were not for Steve, I wouldn't know anybody. He was the one that just welcomed me with open arms, like, "Hey, come on down, Irma, we got you." And he's and I just that was my little foot in the door here in Las Vegas, and then from there I just kind of expanded. So
Me too. That's
I'm
the same
grateful
way
to
I
him.
feel.
Mhm.
He's like the gateway drug for comics.
Yeah. Oh no.
Anyway, you've been a delight. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and hit me up when we're going to do coffee. And you
got it.
guys that are sitting here, Irma Linda Ruiz. I'm going to post all her stuff so you can read, follow her. Now that you know her a little bit better, help her career, support her.
Yeah.
Tell people in Texas, tell wherever she's performing, tell your friends, tell your enemies, do nice things for your enemies.
No, not your
Reach
enemy.
out a little. Get
But enemies, you let me know. I can do some brujeria. Just kidding. I don't do brujeria.
I didn't even know what it was, but the word was funny.
It's witchcraft.
Yeah, there you go. That's
no, I'm just
it.
playing. I don't do witchcraft. I like to trick people and make them think that I do, but I don't.
Oh, there's a good.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much, Irma.
Thank you. Okay,
Bye.
Bye, toodles.
Toodles.